السلام عليك يا إمام علي الرضا. السلام عليك يا إمام محمد التقي. السلام عليك يا إمام علي النقي. السلام عليك يا إمام يا حسن بن علي العسكري. السلام عليك يا إمام يا سيدنا يا مولانا يا صاحب العصر والزمان. سيدي الأمان من فتن الزمان والشيطان. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا وذليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
محمد وآل محمد صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد باری دیگر بآواز بلند صلوات اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد. کیسے ملتا ہے خدا دیکھ لیا ہے میں نے. کیسے ملتا ہے خدا دیکھ لیا ہے میں نے. جا کے خود وہ بلا دیکھ لیا ہے میں نے. کیسے ملتا ہے خدا دیکھ لیا ہے میں نے. ھذا من فضل حسین بن علی و زہرا. ھذا من فضل حسین بن علی و زہرا. حر کے ماتھے پہ لکھا دیکھ لیا ہے میں نے. کیسے ملتا ہے خدا دیکھ لیا ہے میں نے. روز کش کول اٹھائے چلا آتا ہوں حسین. روز کش کول اٹھائے چلا آتا ہوں حسین. تیرا دروازہ کھلا دیکھ لیا ہے میں نے. کیسے ملتا ہے خدا دیکھ لیا ہے میں نے. بیٹھ کے روضہ عباس کی دہلیز کے پاس. بیٹھ کر روضہ عباس کی دہلیز کے پاس. سارے نبیوں کو کھڑا دیکھ لیا ہے میں نے. کیسے ملتا ہے خدا دیکھ لیا ہے میں نے. حرم قدموں میں یہی کہہ کے گرایا خود کو. حرم قدموں میں یہی کہہ کے گرایا خود کو. تیری آنکھوں میں خدا دیکھ لیا ہے میں نے، کیسے ملتا ہے خدا دیکھ لیا ہے میں نے، پرچم حضرت عباس پہ ڈالی ہے نظر، پرچم حضرت عباس پہ ڈالی ہے نظر، آج موسیٰ کا عصا دیکھ لیا ہے میں نے، کیسے ملتا ہے خدا دیکھ لیا ہے میں نے، حلقہ ماتم شبیر میں ماتم کرتے، حلقہ ماتم شبیر میں ماتم کرتے، ہر پیغمبر کو کھڑا دیکھ لیا ہے میں نے، کیسے ملتا ہے خدا دیکھ لیا ہے میں نے، جا کے خود وہ بلا دیکھ لیا ہے میں نے، کیسے ملتا ہے خدا دیکھ لیا ہے میں نے، اور محمد وآل محمد صلوات۔
بارہ دیگر صلوات۔ حسین غم میں تیرے کائنات روتی ہے، حسین غم میں تیرے کائنات روتی ہے، یہ موت ہی نہیں تجھ پر حیات روتی ہے، یہ موت ہی بس ایک ہم ہی نہیں روتے شاہ کے ہم میں، بس ایک ہم ہی نہیں روتے شاہ کے غم میں، کہ خود لحد میں پیمبر کی ذات روتی ہے، کہ خود لحد میں پیمبر کی ذات روتی ہے۔ فقط رباب ہی گریا کونا نہیں اصغر، فقط رباب ہی گریا کونا نہیں اصغر، تمہاری پیاس پہ نہر فرات روتی ہے، تمہاری پیاس پہ نہر فرات روتی ہے۔ تماچے مارنے لگتا ہے جب کوئی ظالم، تماچے مارنے لگتا ہے جب کوئی ظالم، سکینہ تھام کے عابد کا ہاتھ روتی ہے، سکینہ تھام کے عابد کا ہاتھ روتی ہے، نہیں وہ روتی اکیلی اکیلے حجرے میں، نہیں وہ روتی اکیلی اکیلے حجرے میں، اداسی فاطمہ صغریٰ کے ساتھ روتی ہے، اداسی فاطمہ صغرا کے ساتھ روتی ہے، حسین غم میں تیرے کائنات روتی ہے، نکل کے روتا ہے دن، چھپ کے رات روتی ہے۔ پر محمد وآل محمد صلوات۔
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد۔
سورہ فاتحہ۔ بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم۔ جس گھڑی نہر پہ خیمے شہ والا کے ہوئے، جس گھڑی نہر پہ خیمے شہ والا کے ہوئے، اور ستمگار مزاحم لبے دریا کے ہوئے، شاہ برہم یہ جفاکاروں سے فرما کے ہوئے، دشمن جاں میرے گھر سے مجھے بلوا کے ہوئے، دشمن جاں میرے گھر سے مجھے بلوا کے ہوئے، تم پیو پانی محمد کا نواسا مر جائے، تم ہی منصف ہو جو مہمان ہو وہ پیاسا مر جائے، تم ہی منصف ہو جو مہمان ہو وہ پیاسا مر جائے، میں ناتا تھا مدینے سے بلایا تم نے، روضہ احمد مرسل کو چھڑایا تم نے، کو صحرا بھی یہ دریا بھی دکھایا تم نے، حیف ہے تارک دنیا کو ستایا تم نے، حیف ہے تارک دنیا کو ستایا تم نے، رخ ادھر کو جو کیا میں نے تو منہ موڑتے ہو، ایک دغا پیش کے وعدے پہ مجھے چھوڑتے ہو، ایک دغا پیش کے وعدے پہ مجھے چھوڑتے ہو، شاہ سے تب بدرشتی یہ لعینوں نے کہا، مہلت ایک شب کی بھلا دینے میں نقصان ہے کیا،
پر ہمیں حکم ہے دریا سے اٹھا دینے کا، جو کہ فرمائے گا حاکم اسے لائیں گے بجا، جو کہ فرمائے گا حاکم اسے لائیں گے بجا۔ جلد سامان کرو خیمے کے اٹھوانے کا، آپ کا عذر کوئی پیش نہیں جانے کا، آپ کا عذر کوئی پیش نہیں جانے کا۔ آپ دیدہ ہو لینوں سے یہ بولے شبی، آ چکے اب تو دکھائے ہمیں جو کچھ تقدیر، کھائیں گے شوق سے تیغ و تبر و خنجر و تیر، پر خدا اس کا ہے شاہد کے میں ہوں بے تقصیر، پر خدا اس کا ہے شاہد کے میں ہوں بے تقصیر۔ نہر سے گرمی کے موسم میں اٹھاتے ہو مجھے، کیا ملے گا تمہیں ناحق جو ستاتے ہو مجھے، کیا ملے گا تمہیں ناحق جو ستاتے ہو مجھے، جس گھڑی نہر پہ۔
اور محمد وآل محمد صلوات۔
محمد وآل محمد صلوات۔
اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل
محمد باری دیگر صلوات۔ اللہم صلی علی محمد وآل محمد۔ Before I begin, if I can please ask my brothers, especially those of you guys on the right side, in the middle, please just a few steps and come forward so we can open up the space in the back. By Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Mu'min Mu'minat, Assalamu alaikum. I have 4 quick announcements. The first one is Sunday school sign-ups are now underway. Sunday school starts, I think, in the 2nd or 3rd week of August. If you're interested in enrolling your kids for Jafia Sunday School, please contact any of the Jafia management. The second announcement is regarding chairs in both the men's and ladies' side. As many of you know, we have chairs up in the back for the elderly. We are requesting that when you sit on a chair, please fill the spots in the middle first so that those coming later can easily find a spot at the edges. That'll help us out a lot. Please also keep in mind that next Saturday, July 13th, is the Jafia Islamic Society Muharram blood drive from 7:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have 45 open slots. If you are interested, once again, please contact somebody in the management to sign up. And lastly, the announcement is for the annual Hussein Day Julus. Inshallah, the Julus will take place Sunday, July 14th, 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. The Julus takes place every year in downtown Los Angeles at 700 South Broadway. And generally, the Julus will include the procession, Sos Salam, Namaz, a speech, and Azadari. All Mu'mineen and their families are requested by the Julus committee. Please mark this day on your calendar, give it importance, and join with all of your families on Sunday, July 14th at 12 p.m. in downtown Los Angeles. Lastly, if I can request all of you to recite Surah Fatiha and Surah Ikhlas for all the marhumin of today's sponsors, for all the marhumin of everyone in attendance tonight, and for all the marhumin on the Jafri Memorial Board. محمد وآل محمد صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. یہ ٹوٹ گیا یار.
باری دیگر باواز بلند صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Please join in inviting Dr. Akber Mithani to the member with the loudest series salawats upon Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محسن. Yeah. توڑ دیا.
سورة المباركة الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين شفيع المذنبين وخاتم النبيين نبينا وشفينا وحبيب قلوبنا وطبيب نفوسنا بالقاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم ارزقني شفاعة الحسين يوم الورود وثبت لي قدم صدق عندك مع الحسين وأصحاب الحسين الذين بذلوا محجهم دون الحسين عليه السلام. أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في كتابه المجيد وفرقانه الحميد وهو أصدق الصادقين وقوله الحق. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألف لام را كتاب أنزلناه إليك لتخرج الناس من الظلمات إلى النور بإذنه ربهم إلى صراط العزيز الحميد. آمنا بالله وصدق الله العلي العظيم. صلوات محمد. Elders of the community, my brothers and sisters in Islam, Salamun alaykum jami'an wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا بأبي عبد الله الحسين عليه الصلاة والسلام. The ayah of the Holy Quran that I have recited is a wonderful ayah from Surah Al-Ibrahim. And this is the first ayah of the Surah of Surah Al-Ibrahim. The first couple of ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayah says, Alif Lam Ra, Kitabun anzalnahu ilayka litukhrija an-nasa min adh-dhulumati ila an-nur. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that we have sent down a book for you. Yes, we have sent down a book for you in order to bring you out of darkness into enlightenment. Yeah, the book is to bring you out of darkness into enlightenment. with the permission of your Lord, right, towards the Lord of the most powerful and praiseworthy. Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli, he talks about this verse, and he says that this verse is a verse that most appropriately describes the mission of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. The mission of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein, the purpose of that being to bring humankind, to bring mankind out of darkness and into enlightenment. This is what this tafsir of this surah is from Ayatollah Jawadi Amali. It is how Aba Abdullah al-Hussein has the ability to elevate us, the ability to ascend us to a level that is the proximity of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is through Hussein that we are able to reach perfection. Yeah? Through Hussein. Yes? In order to come from darkness into enlightenment, in order to move from darkness into enlightenment, you need what? You need light. Yes? To move from darkness to enlightenment, you need light. Look at what the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says. And this is what the whole premise is of Muharram. I tell you. This is it, man. You get this, you got everything. This is what the Holy Prophet is saying. Your mission of Hussein is to bring you from darkness to enlightenment. Inna al-Hussein misbahul huda wa safinatul najat. Yes, this is the Holy Prophet. Yes, Hussein is the lantern of guidance and the ark of salvation. The lantern of guidance and the ark of salvation is Hussein. You know, there is a very famous Hanafi narrator. His name is Al-Kunduzi. And he says, Al-Kunduzi, he narrates a tradition from Abu Dhar. And this tradition he narrates from Abu Dhar, who narrates the tradition from the Holy Prophet. And what is the narration? Inna mathala ahlu bayti fikum mathala safinatun nuh. This is the Prophet. Is a Hanafi narrator. Yes? Nobody can say that Shia ki kitab and this and that. Not from a Shia book. Hanafi narrator. Inna mathala ahlu bayti fikum mathala safinatun nuh. Man rakibaha najah wa man takhallafa anha halak. He says that the similitude of my progeny, the Holy Prophet is saying, that the similitude of my progeny amongst you is like the ark or the ship of Noah. It's like the ark of Noah. Right? It's like the kashti of Noah. That's the similitude of my progeny amongst you. Whomsoever boards it is going to be saved. And whoever lags behind, he will perish. See, a companion comes to our sixth holy Imam, Imam Jafar as-Sadiq, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. And he says to the sixth Imam, you know, he says, surely, he says, this hadith of the Holy Prophets, yes, Inna al-Hussein misbahul huda wa safinatul najat. He is the lantern of guidance and the ark of salvation. He says, surely, Hussein is the lamp of guidance. There is no question. He is the ark of salvation. There is no question. But this companion says to the sixth Imam, he says that aren't you all the Ahlul Bayt also the lantern of guidance and the ships of salvation? It's a good question. Eh? He says, aren't you all the lantern of guidance and the ship of salvation? Look at the answer of the sixth Imam. Eh? He says, Kulluna sufun al-najat illa an safinat al-Hussein. He says, we are all, no doubt, the ships of salvation except for the ship of Hussein. Because he says, the ship of Hussein, was'aw wa asraw. He says the ship of Hussein is more spacious and it is fast. That's the purpose of Muharram. The purpose of Muharram is to be able to embark on this ship of salvation. Yes? Ship of salvation, right? Hussein is the light of guidance, and surely that light will illuminate the path for all of us. Good versus bad, righteousness versus evil, yes. Light over darkness, right? Submission over transgression, Hussein versus Yazid. This is it. It's all about, right? Right? وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ, the Quran says. وَهَدَيْنَاهُ النَّجْدَيْنِ, the Quran says, I've got two paths for you, man. Allah is saying, there are two paths for you. I've shown the human beings two paths. One of guidance and one of misguidance. It's up to you. Right? The light of Hussein makes the path clear to us. This is what Misbah al-Huda means. He makes the path clear to us. Remember, the path is the same. The path is Sirat al-Mustaqim. The path of Hussein is also the path of Allah. It is the same path. Sometimes we have this misconception, don't we? We say, yes, the deen of Hussein is very easy. But the deen of Allah, that's very hard. The deen of Hussein is very easy. Come on Ashura night, come on Ashura day, do some matam, do some azah, alhamdulillah, Jannat is wajib on you, everything's good, let's go home. The deen of God, man, that's tough. Fasting in the month of Ramadan, praying your salat, not being oppressive to your family, right? Being a good person, that's a tough path, man. We'll take the path of Hussein. We have not understood that the path of Hussein is the same as the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the path of Allah is that path where He says that you can only reach that path through Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. There is no other way. Yes? And once you recognize this right path, then what you do is you have the ability to increase your own existential capacity. Right? The way that you are able to manifest this, the way you are able to jump on that ark of salvation is by increasing your own existential capacity within yourself. Yes? Recite a salawat ala Muhammad wa ala. You have to increase, you have to be ready, you have to open up to Hussein. If you don't open up to Hussein, then he is not going to be a source of guidance for you. He will not embark you on that ark of salvation. You existentially have to open up through your iman and through your actions. Right? We talked about languages of love yesterday. Mashallah, I hope you had a good time at home. Yes, especially the men. It was rough for me, I gotta tell you, man. Because I got it really bad, right? I was told, oh, you recited the majlis, huh? Now let's see you practice it. Yeah? So it was tough for me. But inshallah, it was also tough for you. It will make me feel better if it was tough for you too, yeah? But you have to understand, ishq and love is not enough. It's not enough. What is it? It has to be accompanied with action. Yes? You know, there is a beautiful verse in the Holy Quran. Abu Dawood and Malik relate this from Anas. And that after, he says that after the revelation of this verse, the Holy Prophet, the Holy Prophet, he used to go for Fajr Salat every morning. And before he went to Fajr Salat, he would go outside the door of Fatima Zahra, salamullahi alayha, and he would recite this verse outside the door of Fatima every morning. Allahu nuru samawati wal arz. Yesterday we talked about the verse of love. Today we talk about the verse of light. Yes? Allahu nuru samawati wal arz. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. The Quran says. Then what does it say? Fi buyutin azin Allahu an turfa'a wa yuzkaru fiha ismuhu yusabbihu lahu fiha bil ghuduwi wal asal. I don't know why people don't believe in the Ahlul Bayt. When the Quran just sings the praises of the Ahlul Bayt all the time. Yes? Allahu nuru samawati wal arz. Allah is the light of the heavens and the earth. And this light in houses which Allah has permitted to be exalted, and that His name may be remembered in those houses. In those houses is the place where they, the people, the household of those houses, they glorify Him in the mornings and in the evenings. Allahu nuru samawati wal arz. Yes? Allah talks about the verse of light. And in this verse of light, He talks about His light. Allah is talking about His light. And this light is divine. It's divine light. This is the verse of light. It is divine light. It's not abstract or theoretical. Yes? It is divine, right? And it shows that in this verse, He is saying, what is Allah saying? He's saying that this light of mine is embodied by certain individuals in certain households. This Quran is not hadith, it's Quran. It's embodied by certain individuals in certain homes, in homes that He has elevated and exalted. Right? Homes where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is constantly remembered. You know, when this verse was revealed, Thalabi, another person, in the interpretation of this verse, he relates a narration from Anas ibn Malik and Buraidah. And he narrates that when the Holy Prophet recited this verse, Abu Bakr stood up. And Abu Bakr said to the Holy Prophet, pointing towards the house of Ali and Fatima. And Abu Bakr said to the Holy Prophet, he said, that tell me, is this house of Ali and Fatima, is this house also being referred in this verse of light? And the Holy Prophet smiled. And he says to Abu Bakr, he says, yes, indeed. It is better than all other houses to which this verse refers to. This is not our narrations, right? The light of guidance, of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that nur that will take you from darkness into enlightenment, happens through the house of Fatima az-Zahra. Yeah? You see, there are two ways of guidance, yeah? There are two ways of guidance. The first way of guidance is called Irayat Tariq. Yes? Let me not make it too boring for you, yes? Because sometimes, some theology can be quite boring, yeah? Especially in Muharram, yeah? So the first type of guidance is Irayat Tariq. What does that mean? This is the role of the prophets, right? They show you the way. It's the GPS system, right? The role of the prophet is like a GPS system, right? They'll show you the way. They will say to you that here is the guidance. You have to follow this guidance. This is the way. This is one way of guidance. But there is another way of guidance which is called Isalul Matlub. Isalul Matlub, this is the way of the guidance which is the responsibility of the Imam. The Imam does not just tell you that this is the way, Let me give you the directions to salvation. No, the Imam's function is to hold your hand and take you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why Ibrahim did not get imama until he went through some trials. Allah did not say to him, Inni ja'iluka, muft mein nahi milti imamat. Right? You don't get it for free. Allah is putting him through test after test. When he passes all these tests, then he says, Inni ja'iluka linnasi imama. And when then Hazrat Ibrahim gets this title of imamat, when he gets this designation of imamat, what does the first thing he say? He says, Wa min zurriyati, will you also give it to my kin, to my progeny? And Allah says, not to those who are oppressors. It's not something that, the responsibility of Imam will take you, hold your hand and take you towards salvation. That is the function of the Imam. This is why Hussein is Misbahul Huda wa Safinatul Najat. The ark of Hussein will take you towards salvation. But in order for you to be able to jump onto the ark of Hussein, you have to existentially, internally, you have to expand yourself, you have to expand your heart, you have to open up to Hussein. You cannot constrict yourself, you have to open up to Hussein because you have the capacity to do it. And when you create that capacity existentially to open up to Hussein, this is when Aba Abdullah al-Hussein will choose you. He will choose you, and you will elevate yourself and uplift yourself in such a way that Hussein will now, take your hand. He will take your hand and he will embark you on that ark of salvation. Hussein. Now, what are the practical tips for you to be deserving of being in the ark of Hussein? That we will talk about. Inshallah, not everything in one majlis, because then you will never come back. Yes? The ark of Hussein, my friends, is amazing. It is amazing. It is a really strong ark. Stronger than the ark of Noah, stronger than the ark of Noah. Why? Because this ark is a spiritual ark. Yes, it is a spiritual ark. Those who embark on this ark are chosen by Imam Hussein. They are chosen by Imam Hussein. Yes, and this ark, the destination of this ship is what? The destination of this ship is Allah. Liqa Allah, meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But it's not easy, The ark is able to weather the storm, right? Whenever you think of an ark, what do you think? Whenever you think of an ark, you think that it's the middle of a storm, right? In the sea. That's the purpose of the ark, right? To give you that protection, to give you that security, right? The storm of the dunya, the turbulence of the dunya is something that has engulfed all of us, hasn't it? But don't lie to me then. Everybody is going through this, yes? In this day and age. Everybody goes through troubles and tribulations and adversities and all of that, right? The turbulence of the dunya is surrounded by us. Everywhere you look, shaitan is pulling you in every direction. And if shaitan is not pulling you, then the problems of this world are pulling you. And if you solve one problem with your family, another one springs up. Something happens to your children, for example, you solve that and somebody gets sick in your family. And then you solve that and somebody's marriage is dying. And then you solve that and something's happening in the world. And there is a genocide that's happening. This is the turbulence of the dunya. The ark of Hussein is that ark that is able to take you from the turbulence of the dunya. And Hussein is saying, come to me. Come to me. I tell you, these 12 days of Muharram, these 10 days of Muharram, they provide you with an opportunity. If you were to look at the narrations of the 10 days, not just Ashura Day, 10 days. These 10 days will give you an opportunity like none other. I'm telling you, the narrations, you look at Qabil-e-Ziyarat, the narrations of our Imams, especially our 6th Imam, talking about these 10 days, it will blow your mind. And if you knew the benefit of it, you would sit here and camp here for 10 days. To be in the majalis of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. And opportunities like Amir al-Mu'mineen, Ali ibn Abi Talib, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi. Can I give you a zahmat, please, to ask you to come forward a little bit? There are people who are outside, they are not able to come in. So please, if you could move forward a little bit and make some space, and do that by remembering the blessings on Muhammad and Ali Muhammad, salawat ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Amir al-Mu'mineen says what? Opportunities are like passing clouds. When the opportunity comes, get hold of it. Otherwise, it may pass you by. The 10 nights of Muharram, I tell you, can transform you. It has transformed many people. You just have to open up to Hussein. You see, if you look at him, sometimes we have not looked at Imam Hussein properly. I gotta tell you, I don't think we've understood Aba Abdullah. We always talk about Aba Abdullah and we focus on the enemies. Shimr did this, Umar Asad did this, Khurmala did this, and of course it is important because emotions are a very important part of your faith. And don't let anybody tell you anything else. Emotions are a very important part of your faith. You will not ignite the light of faith in your heart without emotions, right? You'll never do it. Those people who say we should just analyze Hussein, they have not understood Hussein. But this man, his thinking, when I read the history, I'm amazed. When I ponder over it, I think to myself, who is this man? Imam Hussein, look at here's the lantern of guidance, the ark of salvation. Throughout the events of Karbala, he is looking at every opportunity for guidance and embarking people on his ark, not from within himself, from the enemies. There is a narration on the day of Ashura, Aba Abdullah al-Hussein is crying. And somebody comes to him and he says, Ya Aba Abdullah, who are you crying on? Maybe he's crying on Ali Akber. Maybe he's crying on Abu al-Fadl Abbas. But the tears of Hussein are such that he says, I am crying because I see the state of my enemies. And because of me, they are not going to have salvation. It saddens Hussein. But we have to open up, my friends. Gotta open up. You gotta let your heart open to Hussein. And when your heart opens to Hussein, he will take you. He will take you personally and embark you on this ark. Look at the example of Ubaydullah ibn Hur al-Ju'fi. Yes? Ubaydullah ibn Hur al-Ju'fi, he was a man who fought against Amir al-Mu'mineen in Siffin. He also fought against Imam al-Hasan. He was with Muawiyah. He fought against Amir al-Mu'mineen in Siffin. And he was with Muawiyah. He fought even against Imam Hassan. When he heard about the rising of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, and he heard that Imam Hussein was coming to Kufa, Ubaydullah ibn Hur al-Jofi, what does he do? He leaves Kufa. He left Kufa because he said that I don't want to face him. I want nothing to do with this rising. This is not something I want to be part of. So he left. Coincidentally, what happens is that Abu Abdullah al-Hussein on his journey, yes, from Medina to Mecca, he meets Jofi. And his journey, as they are going from Mecca, he leaves Mecca and then he's going towards Kufa, yes. He meets Abdullah ibn Hur al-Jofi. He meets him. Look at the thinking of Hussein. I gotta tell you, man, if it was me, I would say, kya lena dena isse, yeah? Ye to waise bhi jahannam mein jaane wala hai. Right? He fought against my father. He fought against my brother. Like what? Why would I waste my time on this guy? But this is not Hussein. He is Misbahul Huda. وَسَفِينَةُ النَّجَاةِ. He wants to give everybody a chance. Come onto my ark, is what is Hussein is saying. He goes to Abdullah ibn Hur al-Jofi. He goes to see him and he says to him, you know, he says, come and be part of my caravan. Come and be part of me. He says to Jofi, he says, you listen, you have a lot of sins. You have committed a lot of sins. If you join me, I guarantee you that my grandfather will give you shafa'at on the day of Qiyamah. I am guaranteeing you salvation and intercession of Rasulullah. Come join me. What does Jofi say? Ubaydullah ibn Hur al-Jofi. Ubaydullah says to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, he says, oh, the son of the Prophet, Yabna Rasulullah. He says that if I come to assist you, I know I'll die. And I'll have to sacrifice myself. And he says, I don't want to die. I'm sorry, I don't want to die. But he says, I have an idea. What's your idea? He says, I cannot join you, because I don't want to die. I still want to live. But he said, I'll give you my horse. And he said, this is not an ordinary horse. This is the Tesla of all horses. Yes? This is the BMW of all horses. It's the Lambo of all the horses, right? I'll give you my horse. It's really fast. And he says, I'll give you my sword. For this is the best sword that money can buy. I'll give you my horse and I'll give you my sword. A little bit like us, isn't it? No, not like you. I'm talking about me, yeah? I'll give you a donation. That's what we do, right? I'll give you a donation. Don't ask me anything else, Baba. I'll give you some donation. Baat khatam karo. Donation le lo. Right? And mashallah, you go home and say, I did a good thing, I gave a donation. Yes? You give khums, you feel really good. I gave khums. There is still 80% left in your savings. But we focus on the 20%. Anybody who's building a center, the first question we ask them is what? Do you have ijazah of khums? Bapa, you have 80%. 20% to dena hi dena hai. Right? Doesn't matter, you gotta give it. Right? But what does Ubaydullah ibn Hur al-Jofi say? He said, I'll give you my horse, I'll give you my sword. And Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, when he hears it, he turns his face away. He has given him the opportunity. The opportunity is there to be taken. He doesn't take the opportunity. He has not opened himself up to Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Then Imam Hussein says to him that, look, he says, neither do I want your horse, nor do I want your sword. And he says, let me tell you something. I do not desire to enter misled people into my caravan of love. I don't want it. But he said, beware, Ubaidullah, beware. He says, beware, for run away as far as you can. Because if you hear my call, and if you hear the call of the Ahlul Bayt, and you do not come to the assistance of the call of the Ahlul Bayt, then you will be amongst those who Allah will throw into Jahannam, head first in Jahannam. Ubaidullah ibn Hur al-Jofi. The narrations say that after the Ashra of Ashur, Ubaidullah, Jofi, he was seen walking through, looking at the bodies of the shuhada. He was seen walking, looking at the bodies of the shuhada, and he was reciting poetry. And his poetry he was reciting was one where he was saying that the son of Zahara came to ask me for help and gave me the opportunity for salvation, but oh Jofi, you didn't take it. You know how his end came? Ubaidullah, Ibn Hur al-Jofi, you know how his end came? He actually, after the events of Karbala, he joined the Tawabin. He didn't feel good about it. So after the Tawabin, he joined Mukhtar. He didn't get along with Mukhtar. So after Mukhtar, he joined Musa'ib ibn Zubayr. He didn't get along with Musa'ib ibn Zubayr. He was kicked out. He was kicked out of every place to an extent where the narrations say that Ubaidullah ibn Hur al-Jofi, he goes and he jumps into the Nahr of Furat, the river of Furat, and he commits suicide and he kills himself. Jofi. On the other hand, look at the Kareem Hussein. Yes? Look at the generous Hussein. He's after his enemies. It's amazing. It just boggles my mind. He's after the enemies. Look at what he does to Hur. Look at what he does to Hur. He changes the destiny of Hur in one night. That night of Ashura was the Laylatul Qadr of Hur. Yes? Look at Zuhayr ibn Aqil. Zuhayr ibn Aqil, just like Jofi, Zuhayr ibn Aqil fought against Imam Ali in Siffin. Zuhayr ibn Aqil was known as an Osmani. Yes? Zuhayr ibn Aqil, he blamed Imam Ali for helping the killers of Osman. This was what Zuhayr ibn Aqil is. Right? But what happens? What happens? The caravan of Zuhayr is moving. The caravan of Hussein is moving. Zuhayr is trying his best to avoid Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Why? There was something in his heart. Something had kindled in his heart. He knew that Hussein was on the truth, but he did not want to face it. So he is moving away. They finally come to a place where there is water. So they had to camp there so the people would rest, the caravans would rest. So Zuhayr camps, Hussein camps. Zuhayr is in his tent with his family. He's eating food. He's going to have a meal. Yes, and just as he is about to put a morsel of food in his mouth, somebody knocks on the door. Somebody announces their presence. And Zuhayr says, "Who is it?" And the person says, "I'm the messenger of Hussein." And Zuhayr has not even put the morsel of food in his mouth. He puts it down. And the messenger says that, "Oh Zuhayr, Hussein, please recite the salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad." He's putting a morsel, he puts the morsel of food on the plate. He bows his head, and the messenger says to Zuhayr, Zuhayr, Aba Abdullah al-Hussein wants to meet with you. Zuhayr doesn't say anything, he keeps quiet. He bows his head. But look at the contribution of the women of Karbala. Huh? The wife of Zuhayr says to Zuhayr, Zuhayr, what have you decided? The son of Fatima al-Zahra is calling you. What have you decided? Go talk to him. What have you got to lose? At least go talk to the son of the Prophet. Zuhayr says, okay, he goes. The narrations say that Zuhayr and Imam Hussein meet inside a tent, one-to-one meeting. Huh? There is no narration that I have seen as to what was discussed. But when Zuhayr comes out of that tent, he is different. He is enlightened. The narrations say that there is nur on the face of Zuhayr. Going from Misbahul Huda wa Safinatul Najat, this is the light, the lantern of guidance. The lantern of guidance illuminated the face of Zuhayr. He comes out, he comes back to his tent, and he says to his people, I am going with Hussein. And he says to his wife that I am going to Hussein. I have decided. Just a few minutes, just a few minutes. Transformation of Zuhayr changes Zuhayr completely, right? You choose the right path, and then Hussein will embark you on the ark. Few minutes of meeting, right? This is Zuhayr's Laylatul Qadr. That was his Laylatul Qadr. Yes? This is how destinies change. Zuhayr on one side, Juhfi on the other side. What a difference. Yes? One takes the chance, the other one misses out. Khudi ko kar buland itna कि हर तकदीर से पहले खुदा बंदे से खुद पूछे कि बता तेरी रजा क्या है. Allama Akber. Elevate yourself, he says. Elevate yourself to such an extent that when it comes to the writing of your destiny, Allah will come to you himself and he will ask you, tell me, what should I write? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you the tawfiq and the opportunity, my friends. The tawfiq and the opportunity, that has been given to you by Allah to come to the majalis of Aba Abdullah. Some people will come on the day of Ashra only. Alhamdulillah. No problems. But if you're here, take advantage of it. Right? Give yourselves and your pure hearts to Aba Abdullah al-Hussein and then say, Labbaik ya da'i Allah. Labbaik ya da'i Allah. Because it is recommended to say Labbaik ya da'i Allah before you recite the ziyarah of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. The Labbaik ya da'i Allah means what? I am answering your call, or the one who called towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Take me where you took the others. If he can take Hur diverted him. Zuhayr fought against his father. We say, well, Aba Abdullah, if you can take Hur, if you can take Zuhayr ibn Aqil, then why not me? You see, his call of Hal min Nasirin Yansuruna on the day of Ashura, we recite it, right, in Masayib. That call was not for people to help him. It was not for the people there to help him. His people had already died when he made the call. They were already martyred. The call was for his enemies. Who is this man? Who is he? He's calling his enemies. After losing all his relatives, he still calls the enemy. Do you still want to embark on the ark? This is Imam Hussein. Yes. And we say that even if we were not there, Ya Aba Abdullah, even if I was not there on the day of Ashura, I will reply to you today. That is what we have to say. I'll reply to you with my hands, with my eyes, with my ears, with my very wujud, with my very essence. I will reply to you, and I will call out to you, Labbaik ya Da'i Allah, and then see how he takes you. For in the dua of Arafah, he says what? ماذا وجد من فقدك وما الذي فقد من وجدك. Allah Akbar. He says, oh Allah, the one who has lost you, what has he found? And the one who has found you, what has he lost? Look at the Tawheedi centric thinking of Aba Abdullah Hussein. You know, recite the salawat ala Muhammad wa ala. There was a very famous alim by the name of Sayyid Mahdi Kawam. Yeah, it's a true story. Sayyid Mahdi Kawam, very prominent scholar. Now, Sayyid Mahdi Kawam was a very interesting scholar. Not an ordinary Maulana, right? He was a very interesting scholar. Yes, at the level of, Mujtahid. A very interesting scholar. He was very interesting, alim, because he used to do tabligh in a different way. You know, people talk about judging other people, right? Sayyid Mahdi Kawam used to do tabligh in a very different way. He used to hang out with the gangsters and the criminals of Tehran. He used to hang out with them, right? And Sayyid Mahdi Kawam, he would meet with them, he would talk to them, yes? And he would try to slowly inculcate the teaching of Islam to them. But he did it in a way that was of impeccable moral character. And he was such a dynamic, charismatic guy that people loved him. The gangsters and the criminals loved him. Sayyid Mahdi Kawam, right? It is said that when it came to his death, when Sayyid Mahdi Kawam died, right, the haram of Bibi Masuma Qum, alayhi salam, the haram of Bibi Masuma Qum was filled with these gangsters and criminals who had come to his funeral. And people were scared because all the bhai log came, the dakus came, right? Oh, but some bhai log aaya the, yaar. Right? Probably in their pajeros, yes. I don't know, do they still use pajeros in Pakistan? They used to in my days. It's probably something else now, but yes. So all of them came, yes, and they were all a little bit afraid. Now, they came because they loved Sayyid Mahdi Kawam. They wanted to pay their last respect. One night, after Sham-e-Ghariba, Sayyid Mahdi Kawam recited a majlis of Sham-e-Ghariba in Tehran. He recited a majlis of Sham-e-Ghariba, and he was with his aides. After the majlis, as they were going home, Sayyid Mahdi Kawam said to his aides, let's go through this alley today. Now the aides of Sayyid Mahdi's companions, the aides of Sayyid Mahdi Kawam, they said, aha, this is not a good idea, right? Because that alley that Sayyid Mahdi Kawam wanted to go through, it was the red light district of Tehran. Yes? This was before the revolution, pre-revolution, yeah? This was pre-revolution. So this was the red light district. So the aides, they said to Sayyid Mahdi, this is not a good idea, it's not a good street. But Sayyid Mahdi said, no, let's go through this. I want to go through this alley. So they went, right? And Sayyid Mahdi saw this young lady, yes, one of the workers, yeah. He saw this young lady, she was standing on the street corner. As they were going, Sayyid Mahdi stopped and he said to his aides, he said, call her. The aides said like, bro, Like I told you, we don't want to go through this alleyway. And now you are stopping and you want to call her. And Sayyid Mahdi Qawwam says, yes, call her. So they call this young lady. So Sayyid Mahdi Qawwam says to this young lady, he puts his hand in his pocket. He puts his hand in his pocket and he gives her an envelope. This envelope that he gives her is the envelope that he had just received as a hadiyah for reciting the majalis that he recited of Sham-e-Ghariba. Yes? The Sham-e-Ghariba of Imam Hussein, he recited, he takes the envelope, he gives it to her. And he says to her, this is a gift for you from Imam Hussein. So he says to her, he gives her the envelope, he says that, listen, this is a gift for you from Imam Hussein, but you must make a promise to me. And she says, what is your promise that you want from me? He says that as long as this money suffices you, right? As long as this money suffices you, you will not come back out onto the streets. That is the promise that I want. And he says this, gives her the envelope and leaves. A year later, he is in, Sayyid Mahdi Qawwam is in Karbala. He's in the shrine of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. He's in the Sahad of Aba Abdullah al-Hussein. And a man comes up to him and he says to him that, are you Sayyid Mahdi? And he says, yes, I'm Sayyid Mahdi. He says that my wife would like to have a word with you. So Sayyid Mahdi says, okay, no problem. So Sayyid Mahdi, he says, where is she? He says, she's on this side. So Sayyid Mahdi says, no problem, I'll go. And we'll go and talk to her. So Sayyid Mahdi goes and talks to her. And he sees this lady who's in full hijab, and there is nur coming out from the face of this lady. And this lady says salams to Sayyid Mahdi Qawwam, and she says to Sayyid Mahdi Qawwam, you don't recognize me, do you? And Sayyid Mahdi says, no, I'm sorry, I don't recognize who you are. And she says to Sayyid Mahdi, last year, 1 year ago, you gave me an envelope on the night of Sham-e-Ghariba. You gave me an envelope and you told me it was a gift from Imam Hussein. You gave me this envelope, and she says, after you left, you never looked behind. You just left. But he says, after you left, I sat down on the floor and I wept and I cried. And I cried for a long time, and I said to myself, what does Imam Hussein want from somebody like me? What does Imam Hussein want from somebody like me? And he said, I took your money and my life began to change. And he says, I took your money, my life began to change, and I married this man who's a pious man. And this is our first trip to Karbala. And this is when I have seen you come here today. And I wanted to thank you for changing me. And Sayyid Mahdi Qawwam said, I didn't change anything. The gift of Hussein transformed you. Hussein does not leave anyone. The potential has to be within yourself to be saved. And look at how he picks on people. He picked Muslim ibn Aqil. Yes? Hussein, Safir Hussein. Muslim ibn Aqil, not an ordinary man. Muslim ibn Aqil is Babul Hawaij. Babul Hawaij, my friends. Yes, 4 Babul Hawaijs in Iraq. Our 7th Holy Imam, Aliyul Asghar, Abul Fadl Abbas, and Muslim ibn Aqil. Babul Hawaij. Yes. Look at how when Imam Hussein picks Muslim ibn Aqil, what does he say? He says, he is the most trustworthy, and he is from my Ahlul Bayt. Allahu Akbar. Muslim ibn Aqil. You don't just become Babul Hawaij like that. Yeah? Not only can you say that you love the Ahlul Bayt, but you can become a part of the Ahlul Bayt. This is the beauty of the ark of salvation of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. The greatness of Muslim ibn Aqil is captured in his ziyarah. Yes? أشهد أنك مزيت على ما مزى عليه بدريون. The Imam has talked about his ziyarah. He says, I bear witness that you died for the same principles for which the martyrs for the battle of Badr died. What were those principles? Yes, al-mujahiduna fi sabilillah, those who strove in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-mubalighuna fi jihadi a'da'i, those who did their best in struggling against the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then what? Nusrati awliya, those who supported and helped the awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. See, the enemies of Badr were, mushrik, right? And they were mushrik in the apparent sense, right? But the fight of Hazrat Muslim was against the enemy and kuffar and mushrik whose shirk and kufr was hidden in the garment and veil of Islam. Muslims' fight was at a higher level. Imam is comparing him to the martyrs of Badr. Badr exposed those people who were kafir. They were apparently kafir. They were mushrik. That was what Badr was about. Yes? But this, Hazrat Muslim, his contribution was that because of him, he exposed the hidden shirk and kufr of Banu Umayyah. If it had not been for Muslim, the shirk of Banu Umayyah would not have been exposed. Yes? The martyrs of Badr were essential for the survival of Islam. And Muslims' martyrdom was essential for the salvation of Islam. The quality of the people of Badr was their quality of iman, their taqwa, their patience, their steadfastness. And this is the same quality that you see in Muslim. Whether there are 1,000 people with him, or whether after that Salatul Isha, he looks behind and there is nobody there. Yeah. His tears were not tears of fear or weakness. This is not the tears of Muslim. His tear were the concern for the love of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Right. The aqidah of the people of Badr is the same aqidah of Muslim because it is vilayat centric. The same quality of being in total obedience of the wali of your time, which was shown by Hazrat Hamza and Amirul Mu'mineen in Badr, is shown by Muslim in Kufa. The last words of Muslim as he was taken to Darul Imara was what? Assalamu alayka ya Aba Abdullah. The last words of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein was what? Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, after Hal min Nasirin yansuruna, his words were what? His words were, he remembered Muslim and he said to Muslim and Hani, he said, where are you, O my beloved? Where are you? Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. Yes. He's alone in Kufa, Muslim ibn Aqil. The Kufians have been scared of Ibn Ziyad. They've changed their colors. The helpers of Muslim have abandoned him. He is now running in the alleyways of Kufa from one place to another. They are all after him. His head is on the line. A Muslim, as he runs from one place to another, he comes to a house tired. fatigued. He sits down, he is thirsty. He sits down outside the door of a house, and an old lady comes out by the name of Taw'a. And Taw'a looks at this man. She looks at Hazrat Muslim and she says, "Oh Shaykh, why is it that you are sitting outside my door? Do you not understand that the things in Kufa, the situation in Kufa is very tense? Oh Shaykh, please leave and go back to your home." Muslim looks at her and he says that I only want a few drops of water, for I have been running all day in the alleyways of Kufa, and I have no place to go anymore, for the Kufians have all deserted me. They have all deserted me. And I have only one worry that I have. And the woman says to Muslim, oh Sheikh, tell me, what is your worry? And he says, my worry is only that I have called my master, Imam Abdullah al-Hussein. And Hussein will be coming towards Kufa. I worry that I have called him. When Taw'a hears that name of Imam Abdullah al-Hussein, she was a lover of Ahlul Bayt. She says that, who are you? He says, I am Muslim ibn Aqil. And Taw'a says, oh Muslim, come into my house. She gives refuge to Muslim. After giving refuge to Muslim, in the evening, the son of Taw'a by the name of Bilal, he comes home. He finds out that Muslim is taking refuge in his house. He immediately runs to Ibn Ziyad and he says to Ibn Ziyad, I want my reward, for I have found Muslim. The army of Ibn Ziyad come. They surrender, they surround the Muslim, and they start throwing stones at Muslim. They start firing arrows at Muslim. Finally, Muslim is captured. He's brought to Ibn Ziyad. When he is brought to Ibn Ziyad, Ibn Ziyad gives the order. He says that take Muslim to Darul Imara, or take him to the rooftop of Darul Imara. And he says to his army folk, he says that I want you to behead him. And once I will behead him, I want you to take his head, and I want you to put his head on the entrance of the doorway to Kufa, so that whoever enters Kufa would know that if you are to support Hussein, then this is what will happen to you. But then Ibn Ziyad does not stop there. He says, then I want you to take the body of Muslim. I want you to tie the body of Muslim with a rope, and I want you to drag the body of Muslim in the alleyways of Kufa, Azadaro. And when Muslim has been beheaded, as a Muslim is beheaded, Imam Abdullah al-Hussein is coming towards Kufa. A messenger comes to Imam Abdullah and says to Imam Hussein, he says to Imam Hussein that Muslim has been martyred. When Imam hears that his brother Muslim has been martyred, he says, Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. He requests Bibi Zainab. He says to Saniya Zahra, oh Saniya Zahra, bring the daughter of Muslim to me. His daughter of Muslim's name is Hamida. He says, bring Hamida to me. When Hamida comes, Imam Hussein puts Hamida on his lap and he starts to show affection towards Hamida. Ruqayya, the wife of Muslim, sees it. Immediately she knows that Muslim has been martyred. Hamida says to Abu Abdullah, she says to Abu Abdullah, you appears, oh my uncle, it appears that you are treating me as they treat orphans. When Sakina hears this, she says to Hamida, oh Hamida, do not consider yourself an orphan, for my father is your father. I will tell to Bibi Sakina, I will say to you, Sakina, beware, for the time of Shame Gharima will come, and there will be no Hussein to put affection and show affection to you. There will be the slaps of Shimar. There will be a time when they pierce your earring. This is what is happened to you. Azadaran Hussein, jab ye loota, आखिरी मसाइब पढ़ रहा हूँ, जब ये लूटा हुआ काफिला करबला के बाद जब ये लूटा हुआ काफिला कूफा आया है, जब कूफा आया है तो मुस्लिम की बीवी रुकैया ने एक मर्तबा जब कूफा आया, मुस्लिम की बीवी रुकैया ने एक सर को कूफे के दरवाजे पे देखा, रुकैया ने सर को देखा, आजादारों रुकैया ने पहचान लिया कि ये मुस्लिम का सर है। मुस्लिम ने रुकैया को देखा और रुकैया ने मुस्लिम को देखा, आजादारों बीवी रुकैया रोने लगी, मुस्लिम के सर ने रुकैया को देखा। अब रुकैया ने एक अजीब जुमला कहा, रुकैया ने कहा मुस्लिम मैं आपको ये नहीं पूछने वाली कि आपको पत्थर किसने मारे, मुस्लिम मैं आपको ये भी नहीं पूछने वाली कि आपका सर इन लोगों ने दारुल इमारा में कैसे कलम किया, और मुस्लिम मैं आपको ये भी नहीं पूछने वाली कि इन लईनों ने आपके लाशे को कैसे कूफे के बाजारों में घसीटा। मुस्लिम तुम मुझे ये मत पूछना कि करबला में हमारे सब कैसे शहीद हुए, मुस्लिम तुम मुझे ये मत पूछना कि हमारे बच्चे 3 दिन की भूख और प्यास कैसे बर्दाश्त किए, मुस्लिम तुम मुझे ये मत पूछना कि इन लईनों ने हम पे कैसे जुल्म किए, हमारे खैमे जलाए, हमारे सर से चादरें छीनी, हमारे हाथ और पसे गर्दन बांधे गए। मुस्लिम मैं लेकिन एक माँ हूँ, मेरा सिर्फ एक ही सवाल है। रुकैया कहती है मुस्लिम जब मैं निकली थी, जब आप निकले थे तो आपके पास मेरे वो 2 नन्हे नन्हे लाल थे। मुस्लिम मेरा एक ही सवाल है, मेरे बच्चे कहाँ है? मैं कहता हूँ रुकैया न पहुंच, मुस्लिम का सर तरफ जाएगा, आपके बच्चे अभी भी इब्ने जियाद के कैद खाने में बंद। मातम हुसैन या हुसैन
या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन या हुसैन हैया अला खैरिल अमल हैया अला खैरिल अमल हैया अला खैरिल अमल हैया अला खैरिल अमल या हुसैन 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 या हुसैन
یا حسین یا حسین حیا علی خیر العمل 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 یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین کربلا والوں پہ یہ کیسا محرم آیا 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 خون ٹپکتا ہوا عباس کا پرچم آیا کربلا والوں پہ یہ کیسا محرم آیا کربلا والوں پہ یہ کیسا محرم آیا کربلا والوں پہ سب مل کے پڑھیں کربلا والوں پہ محرم آیا کربلا والوں پہ محرم آیا جیسے جیسے میرے غازی کا علم جھکتا گیا جیسے جیسے میرے غازی کا علم جھکتا گیا پشت میں حضرت شبیر کی بھی غم آیا خون ٹپکتا ہوا عباس کا پرچم آیا کربلا والوں پہ یہ کیسا محرم آیا کربلا والوں پہ یہ کیسا محرم آیا کربلا والوں پہ کیسا محرم آیا کربلا والوں پہ محرم آیا جیسے جیسے میرے غازی کا علم جھکتا گیا جیسے جیسے میرے غازی کا علم جھکتا گیا پشت میں حضرت شبیر کی بھی غم آیا خون ٹپکتا ہوا عباس کا پرچم آیا کربلا والوں پہ یہ کیسا محرم آیا کربلا والوں پہ سب مل کے پڑھیں کربلا والوں پہ یہ کیسا محرم آیا کربلا والوں پہ محرم آیا کربلا دیکھ لے اسلام بچانے کے لیے کربلا دیکھ لے اسلام بچانے کے لیے ساتھ کنبے کو لیے وارث آدم آیا خون ٹپکتا ہوا عباس کا پرچم آیا کربلا والوں پہ یہ کیسا محرم آیا کربلا والوں پہ، یہ کیسا محرم آیا کربلا والوں پہ، یہ کیسا محرم آیا کربلا والوں پہ، یہ کیسا محرم آیا. ظالموں اس کو تو دو بوند پلا دو پانی، ظالموں اس کو تو دو بوند پلا دو پانی. اب لبوں پر میرے بے شیر کا ہے دم آیا، پھوٹا پکتا ہوا عباس کا پرچم آیا کربلا والوں پہ، یہ کیسا محرم آیا کربلا والوں پہ، یہ کیسا محرم آیا. پھوٹ پکتا ہوا عباس کا پرچم آیا کربلا والوں پہ، یہ کیسا محرم آیا کربلا والوں پہ، محرم آیا کربلا والوں پہ آیا. ظالموں اس کو تو دو بوند پلا دو پانی، ظالموں اس کو تو دو بوند پلا دو پانی. اب لب پر میرے بے شیر کا ہے دم آیا، پھوٹ پکتا ہوا عباس کا پرچم آیا کربلا والوں پہ، کیسا محرم آیا کربلا والوں پہ، یہ کیسا محرم آیا. یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا